Hey there, it's me again. Been a little while since I've done this. Been really tied up. Well, I shouldn't just say this summer, but this entire year. If it wasn't freelance software work, it was working with a couple other gals to help me sell stuff out of the greenhouse, and they both went back to Manila. So I'm stuck on my own again. No more help, but that's all right. They went back about the middle of July of this year when the heat totally kicked in, and at that point I just kind of let the greenhouse go. Things got way overgrown, so I got a lot of cleanup work to do in there. But I'll tell you, my freezer's full. I mean, very full, outrageously full. And I also haven't done much of anything with the YouTube channel because I really grew tired of the three cameras that I have. I just couldn't either get the video quality that I wanted or the audio quality. So as you noticed by the intro of this video, I have a DJI drone, and it's the Mini 2, and the camera on that thing is fantastic, just unbelievable. So one day when I was cruising the DJI website, I was looking around to see if they actually sold that camera separate, and I'll be damned, they do. It was called the Pocket 2. It's a gimbal camera. They sell a complete kit with a wireless mic and all kinds of other goodies. And the neat thing about the gimbal camera, I'll set this stand down. Oops. Camera follows me. I can go all over here. I can keep going if I wanted to. But yeah, the camera follows me. It will connect by Bluetooth to a cell phone. So even though you can't see it off to this side over here, my cell phone is on a separate stand. So it's a handy little combo. So I'm definitely going to be doing more stuff now because I don't want to let a $500 camera rig sit and go to waste. But wanted to announce a few things. I tried one of those YouTube shorts not long ago. I don't really know why YouTube came up with those. I think they're just trying to compete with TikTok, only without all the degenerate trash all over. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. But I don't think a whole lot of people pay attention to those, or at least the people who do pay attention are the ones that have no attention span. You know, I can only tolerate watching a 1-minute video. That's the best I can do. So that's all I think that's all I can think the YouTube shorts are good for. But I wanted to point out in that short that I did that I was changing the direction of the channel because, well, hey, my camera lost track of me. This channel was originally something that I put together because when I was new to the hobby distillation thing, homebrew, things like that, I was using this channel to post videos showing that stuff. Even though the videos that I posted here, I learned so much over the past couple years or so that those first videos are kind of an embarrassment. I've gotten my act together a whole lot more. But with the other channel, my personal channel as I call it now, it got overrun with just keyboard warriors and people that just had nothing better to do than to leave nasty comments on videos and just be total jerks. So I figured I would flip the content between the two channels. So anything that was distillation related here goes over on the other channel. Anything that's greenhouse and aquaponics related comes over here onto this channel. And if I've seen that quite a few people did follow me over here, they're still subscribed to the other channel for some reason, even though I've made it clear I'm not posting any more greenhouse or aquaponics related stuff over there. But eventually they'll make it over here. But I just wanted to get that out of the way first, and after that I'll go through the greenhouse and point out a few things. I'll let you see the mess that I made. It's bad. Like I said, starting about the middle of July when those two gals went back to Manila, I just didn't do anything more as far as maintenance in there. Things grew wild. I'd go in there to harvest things like peppers and cucumbers and who knows what else, but I didn't plant anything new, and I just kind of let it get out of control. So I'll be back in a few after I get in there and get that kind of make a path through there. All right, back in a few. Okay, we got a wee bit sidetracked today, but I'm back. One of the first changes I wanted to cover is, well, the greenhouse cover. Not necessarily the poly. I'm referring to the hail shield that's on here. Previously I used to get a 40% shade cloth and put that over the greenhouse every summer, and you know, it worked, but there's a thing. If you're going to be growing plants under a shade cloth, 40% is the most that you want to attenuate the light. Well, those 2 layers of poly on the greenhouse, they attenuate the light by 10% each. So basically the plants were growing under a 60% shade cloth in the summer. Well, with this, we're back to 40% total, because that hail shield is 20%, and then we have the 20% for the 2 layers, and it really made a huge difference. It was enough to attenuate the light enough to keep the heat somewhat under control. Granted, you can't keep things totally under control in a greenhouse, but it helped, and it really saved the poly this year from hail. It was more expensive than a shade cloth, but I'll tell you, it was definitely worth the money. And this kind of leads to another thing that I'm going to be doing as far as changing channel direction. I'm in a lot of online groups, not Facebook, that's for sure. Groups that are dedicated to greenhouse growing. And a lot of people make this mistake of, you know, they'll buy a greenhouse kit and think, well, heck, that's all I need to do is build a greenhouse and all my problems are solved. And that's not necessarily true, because they forget that in a greenhouse you have to pick heat tolerant plants in the summer and cold tolerant plants in the winter, and they just seem to think, well, it's a greenhouse, I can grow anything I want year round. No, you won't. Sorry. So I'm gonna be covering a lot of that in future videos here, starting real soon, since winter is upon us, and I want to show people that, you know, you really can grow stuff year round in a greenhouse, and you don't have to go broke heating it, because it'll pick up heat all day long, and if you have enough thermal mass in there to store it, it'll slowly release it overnight, and you might need some supplemental heat, but nothing drastically crazy. So that's the main change to the greenhouse. I've done some other videos on my other channel showing the things that I added inside, but I wanted to show that to people because, you know, you do need a shade cloth of some sort to help attenuate light in the summertime, but you attenuate light too much and then you're going to end up crippling your plant growth. So I'm going to cut this off here. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and you can definitely see the mess that I was referring to. I have a whole bunch of dead herbs that I need to clean out of here, And not only here are the towers, but I want to save the seeds on the dill heads before I start ripping all that stuff out. But yeah, I really let it go nuts because, like I said, it was just too hot. I didn't have any help, so I let everything go crazy. I have never had my lemongrass get that tall before. And then these here, they call them a Cuca Melon. Now, it's not a melon, it's a cucumber that looks like a watermelon. But I have flowers. I'm still not seeing any cucumbers on these. Got some potatoes mixed in there I gotta dig out. Oh, and then also back there in my mint bed, I stripped a whole bunch of mint back and I threw potatoes in there. They grew, and then they died off, and then the mint took over again. As you can see, I got plenty of chives, and then the rosemary's kind of trying to come back. This stuff here, there are two different types of Malabar spinach. This is the green one, of course, and then the red ones are climbing that trellis netting over there. I sold so much of this stuff this year. People generally assume that you can't grow spinach in the summer because of the heat, but yeah, Malabar spinach is a heat tolerant type spinach. And then the red stuff, it's starting to die off. It needs a lot of light. Oh, look at that down there. A seed dropped from last year. The seeds drop on the floor here all the time. So I get red Malabar spinach coming up voluntarily. I never have to plant this stuff. And I had an endless supply of pole beans this year. And I finally clipped them off down at the bottom so the plants would die off. And then, oh great. That noise was the Colorado Air National Guard doing, I don't know what you call it, training, getting hours in this weekend. But back there I have red beets like crazy. Yeah, they're ready to pull out. I see a few of them down there that are $half size. And there I let a bunch of radishes turn to seed. Then the seed pods popped open and they replanted themselves. So that really went out of control. I replanted some kohlrabi in this bed last weekend. And then, oh yeah, the endless supply of cucumbers. Oh, and there's one. They're everywhere in here. I've had such a continuous supply of cucumbers. I don't know what to do, and I planted a cherry tomato plant in one of these beds and it went nuts. And as you can see, I trimmed off my Swiss chard. Rob Bob, the guy who I recommend people go to learn aquaponics, pointed out one time that Swiss chard in these beds is a bad idea. And he wasn't lying, because the roots really kind of go crazy and they'll plug up the drains. Not a big deal though. Clip the plants off, rip out as much as you can, and let the composting worms take care of the rest. So there's that I have to clean up. I have one lonely Chinese cabbage head left over in my raft beds, and some parsley. But yeah, the towers, I had basil growing in them, and I was selling that like crazy. Then the two gals took off, left the country again, and that's why I shut off the water to the towers and let everything die off. But that's where I am right now. So like I said, I got a lot of cleanup work to do, and then I'll start putting together more videos, definitely covering winter time growing in a greenhouse, because considering our food situation in this country, our entire supply chain issues, people really need to know or learn how to become self-sufficient and realize that you can actually grow food year-round in a greenhouse. Doesn't matter. You just change your crops from one season to the next. And it'll save you a lot of money in the grocery store. I know that. I spend very little time. The exhaust fan's turned off. Finally hit 75 degrees in here. I spend very little time in the produce section at the grocery store. So that's that. I'm going to cut this video off, stitch everything together, and upload it to YouTube so people don't think that I've died and fallen off the face of the planet. So that's all. Catch you around next time. Bye.